How many products are you going to have on your site? Because that kind of determines the right platform and what the platform lends itself to properly. If SEO is a big piece of your business and it's a big way of driving traffic, you want to make that decision early on. Choose the one that where you can see yourself still using that in 3 to 5 years.
Hello, and welcome to Chats with Selenites. Today we're talking with Mr. David Crowder himself about what is the best e-commerce platform for SEO.
Great, good question.
Let's get right into it, David.
Yes, good.
Okay, so when a client comes to you and says they want to sell products online, what are the first things you need to know before recommending a platform?
Yeah, good question. And I think someone probably should speak to a specialist before they even make any decisions, because a lot of the times we'll have people kind of DIY it themselves and end up already with half a website built, things not working properly, and the totally wrong setup before they come to us. Mm-hmm. But if you actually speak to someone first or listen to a podcast like this, you're going to actually not waste a whole heap of time and hopefully not a whole heap of money. So,
yep.
And the kind of things that you need to think about, and this isn't even SEO related, but you need to think about, how many products are you going to have on your site? Because that kind of determines the right platform and what the platform lends itself to properly. I think the other thing that's really important, especially for SEO, is that for the products that you're going to be selling, is there even any SEO demand? All right. So, for example, we worked with this guy and he invented a spray for plants and things like that, where you spray on the plant gets really strong. Like it's like a probiotic for plants, where the plant's immune system gets really strong. But there wasn't any search demand for that on the internet, and probably never will be in the close range. So SEO really didn't matter. Mm-hmm. It was more functionality and ease of use that probably would have been a better solution for him if he knew that to start with.
Yeah, so his websites are acting more as a brochure that he can give to people and purchase directly via a link.
Yeah, exactly. And he has to drive demand from ads to get people there by showcasing how well his product works, rather than someone finding a Nike shoe or a type of shirt or things like that, where people already know what they want and they just type it into Google and find them. So that's where I think it's really important to understand, do I even need to care about SEO or not? That's a really good starting point. Would
you say it comes down to UX versus customization?
In that regard, in that example,
yeah.
I think so. That and ease of use and a few other things. So let me rattle them off. And I think the other things that come into play there is, how many products do you actually have? Mm-hmm. So this guy only had one product. So you don't need a big scale solution like Magento or BigCommerce to pull that off. You can go with something as simple as WordPress, maybe even Shopify, but maybe even Shopify would be overkill. So I think the amount of products that you have is a really important question to ask first as well, because how are you going to manage that and what kind of platform do you need to manage it? So if it's a lot of SKUs, you probably need something specific for commerce to actually make that work. And that's not even SEO based, but those kind of platforms are made for that. So they're gonna handle that kind of volume a lot better too. The other things that I would look at and ask straight away is, okay, where are you at in your business? Mm-hmm. Because if you're just starting out, most likely you don't even know what a merchant center is. You don't even know what a payment gateway is. You may not even have an accounting solution at this point in time, like Xero or something like that. So it's really important to let us know, well, what does your tech stack look like? Do you already have a point of sale system? Are we able to plug that in or not? And that will really kind of determine straight away now, okay, what kind of platform, with everything that's already in place, what kind of platform will suit that? Mm-hmm. So again, nothing really to do with SEO, but if all of that flows really well and people have a good buying experience, your SEO is going to pay a lot more. So those are kind of some important things to kind of work out from the beginning as well. The other thing that I would probably say is, this is a really important question, is budget. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you trying to build with? And I've worked with companies from startup phase, and we've worked with other companies that want to now move into e-commerce because it's working really well offline. And then we've worked with companies where they've got a secondary business, but they're now investing into an e-commerce store, and all of those things matter. Because if you're just starting out, cash flow is of the essence. So you can't spend 50, 60 grand on an awesome website build when you're not even projected to make those kind of numbers in your first year. So I think there it's really important. What kind of budget are you looking for? Like if you don't have the budget for a custom website, then maybe, okay, let's look for something where you can get a template where it does start. But then I also look at, well, what's your projection? Because getting it right from the first day is really important. And I think we can kind of talk through that a little bit more. But those are the kind of questions that are really important to ask. What volume am I playing here? How many products am I going to have? Because that's really important to choose something that's going to allow you to manage that, especially on SEO front, like your canonicals, and things like that, the category pages and stuff like that they're properly managed. So that's that. And then, what kind of tech stack are you plugging into? What do you have? What are you looking to get? And then what's your predicted sales volume and current budget, but where do you want to go? And is it right to build this right now? Or is it okay to build this and then switch? Those are all the kind of questions that are really good to start us off.
Great. Okay, let's jump a little bit into the scalability side of it.
Cool. All right.
So how important is it if I've got one product and I know that eventually I want to build it up to 50 or 100 or even more? How important is my choice right now?
You need to look at your timeline and how realistic is that? But look, 50 products, even anything up to 100, for me personally, it doesn't really matter what platform you use. I would probably stay away from more of the BigCommerce, Magento type of platforms because they're a lot harder to work with and it's going to cost a lot more. But if you're never going to go over 100 products, either Shopify or WooCommerce will be a great choice.
What is the number where you would think about BigCommerce? Yeah,
when you start to go into the multiple hundreds, thousands, okay, you need a solution that's specific for e-commerce. And Shopify can handle that. Obviously, BigCommerce and Magento, they're built for that. They're very robust for that, and that's just what they're built for. Whereas you're like WordPress and WooCommerce, so WooCommerce just kind of plugs into WordPress. WordPress was a blogging engine, and I know it's very versatile and it's come a long way. I've seen it come from where it was back in the early 2010s to where it is now in 2026. So it's come a long way and it is versatile. And we've got some pretty serious clients that are on WordPress. It powers their whole business. But if you're purely going to be e-commerce, then use an e-commerce platform to start with. That's really my kind of opinion on that.
Yeah, and I guess in your experience, excuse me. Excuse me, sorry.
You're excused.
In your experience with those bigger guys that want to reach, over 1,000 products or into your multiple hundreds, they come with the plan already. So they've got the investors, they've got the business model to support a big build straight up. Yeah,
usually, because unless you're a drop shipper and you've got dreams that have been sold to you that, hey, you're going to have this and that. Like if you've got 1,000 products, you've got to warehouse them somewhere. You're going to have costs attached to that. You're going to have a stock that you've already paid for. So you're probably down the track a fair way. Then it's like, okay, you need a serious e-commerce solution to handle that kind of a business.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the questions on the list.
Cool.
With Shopify versus WooCommerce,
okay.
From an SEO perspective, where does each one shine and where does each one fall short?
Yeah, great question. All right, I think the shortest part of it is the versatility of SEO versatility of WooCommerce lends itself really well to SEO.
Yep.
But Shopify out of the box works really well. the big hang up that a lot of SEOs have is the URL structures that you can't control on Shopify.
Yeah.
It's you always have to have that category page right in the middle, and the way they structure their blog posts is always underneath, so you can't get really close to the domain name, because the rule of thumb is the closer your page is to your root domain name, so let's say www.mybusiness.com, the closer you are to that, so the easier it is going to be to rank that page, because it means it's close to what's important for this website. So this is the kind of theory behind it in the SEO world. So for example, if it's mybusiness.com/product A, that's going to be real close to that, and you're going to get maximum power from that.
Yeah.
But if it's mybusiness.com/category product A, now you're one away, you're not going to get as much power, in theory, from there. So all things being equal. Now, and Shopify forces you to put other pages and URLs into that structure before you can actually get to the shops and the product pages. And it's the same for the blogs. Yeah. And if you know anything about siloing and things like that, it's just much easier to do on a WordPress site to handle the categories and organize things and then overwrite the categories. And we're getting a little bit more advanced, but that's probably the big difference. You can bend and adjust WordPress and WooCommerce until the cows come home.
Yeah.
Whereas with Shopify, it's kind of like set. This is their platform. And it is what it is, and you got to work with it. And out of the box, you've got all the SEO capabilities. Like you've got your title tag, you can control your description, your H tags, and things like that.
Yep.
And you can bend it 100 ways to make that fit, but it's just not as versatile as that. Now with that probably comes that it's more robust. Because Shopify doesn't allow certain things to happen. It means there's less likelihood you're going to break your site.
Yeah,
so that's
true.
the kind of the other side of it that we've seen as well. So, but yeah, I would say SEO probably wins the race for a lot of people that want to rank. SEO will win the race, but we've ranked Shopify sites for some pretty competitive terms as well.
You said SEO will win the race?
WordPress.
WordPress will win the race.
WordPress will win the SEO race.
Yeah.
With a lot of SEOs, they'll say that, but Shopify works just as well.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Okay, what are the SEO deal breakers that business owners don't think about when choosing a... Let me start again. What are the SEO deal breakers that business owners don't think about until it's too late?
Probably starting on a platform like... So we talked about Shopify being not as versatile as WooCommerce and WordPress. I think the one that's even worse is your Wix and your Squarespace, because they have all the inabilities that Shopify has, but on top of that, they're not a native e-commerce solution. So it's more... They were competing with WordPress head-to-head as a kind of CMS, a content management system.
Yep.
And then they saw a gap in the market, we'll just plug this on top. So on top of not being able to do things, it's kind of like an afterthought for e-commerce. And people start with those sites because they're easy to get started. They're cheap. There's a lot of free ones even, and you can just get started. And then as I said right at the start, you're in 1 year, 2 years, and you're like, I've got this limitation. I can't control this. I can't change that.
Yeah.
And you've put 1.5 years of your blood, sweat, and tears into this, and literally, it's hit its ceiling as an e-commerce solution. So it's not so much for me that. Because they can still do the basic SEO stuff. It's more so the advanced stuff as you grow and you need to be able to do things. That's probably the big deal breakers where you have to leave that platform and go to another one. Yeah.
And how detrimental is it when you reach that point of I need to change platform? That's a big decision. What does that involve? And what would you say is worth the change and what isn't worth the change?
Yeah. If you can't take your business to the next level, and whatever that may look like from you, so for example, if you want to go from 500K to hitting $1 million, but the platform limits you because the SEO is just not working because you can't do certain things, or you can't plug certain software in there to, let's say the way that you're going to get to $1 million is cross-border, but you can't plug certain logistical software in there, or the reason or you need to plug in accounting software or things like that, or API connections and things like that, like things that just limit you to go to that next level, that's a deal breaker. Okay, so the inability to tap into certain media. So, for example, if you can't connect your shop to Google Ads, and now you can't use that media for your Google Shopping, that's a deal breaker. So those kind of things that stop you from going to the goal that you want to go to, that is pretty much, hey, it's time for you to switch.
Yeah, and they're pretty obvious headaches.
Yeah, because you're hitting your head against the wall. You're hitting a ceiling. So those are really deal breakers. The other ones are where the site keeps breaking because you've come to a point where you've plugged this in, you've plugged that in and this in. It comes to a point where it's just better to, let's rebuild it in the right platform. Let's customize it so you're not using 1,000 plugins that keep fighting with one another, that keep causing errors here and there. I think that if your site keeps breaking and things like that, that's going to cause headaches. That's going to stop you from ranking as well, because if Google comes back and your site's down all the time, those are not good signals. Yeah. So that you're going to be less trusted as well. But it's not good for your users. So, and that gives you bad user experience as well, which all reflects in your SEO. But I think it's, if you're not hitting your goal, if something's stopping you from being able to do that functionally, that's a big problem. Mm-hmm. And if your site just becomes non-reliable, it might be time to switch to something more robust.
Great. Okay. Let's talk site speed.
Okay, cool.
How much does
debated.
Oh yeah.
Highly debated topic.
How much time you got? How much does your platform choice actually affect site speed, and does it matter as much as people think for rankings?
I think it's not so much your platform that really matters, it's your hosting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can have a really clean e-commerce platform built on WordPress, WooCommerce, and it loads really fast, but then you put it on bad hosting and the time to actually load it goes to 4 or 5 seconds, you're going to have a really slow site. Even though it's super lean, it's coded well and whatever not, your hosting is going to be a determining factor there. So it's not so much the platform. Yeah. The platform does matter. We'll go back to that. But then you've got something like Shopify, which they offer all the hosting, and you can also plug in a CDN like Cloudflare or whatever else and load it from the different destinations. And out of the box, and we talked about this earlier on, out of the box, it's a really clean site. Yeah. So the framework's really clean, the platform's really clean. So it's going to load pretty fast out of the box. Mm-hmm. I think either platform choice is fine. It's really, with WordPress, hosting matters, but it's really what you do next that's going to affect your site speed. And it's the basic SEO stuff. Are your product images massive? They're going to take ages to load. Yeah. How did you code up your product pages? So out of the box, everything's clean, but then you may have installed a plugin to do this, another plugin to that. You may have some script running to do this and that. And all of a sudden, before you know it, your loading time just goes through the roof because you got all these things firing at the same time and not loading as they should. Yeah. So, I think you need to look at that. There isn't really a platform that I would one over the other. I think they both load really fast out of the box. So you're going to get your 1 to 2 kind of second load speeds. What really matters is what you do next with the platform. How have you coded it? How have you organized it? And what are you adding to it that adds load speed to the side? Yeah.
Would you say that hosting is something that people don't know enough about, and maybe they look at last?
Yeah, probably they just look at it as a cost because they don't understand it. Yeah. But if you looked at it as something, if I get a fast host and my site, let's say it loads instead of 4 seconds, 2 seconds, that's twice as fast. Now every user gets their information that they want twice as fast. At volume, that's dramatic, because of the people that are going to stay and have a better user experience and buy versus those that are just going to bounce back because the site doesn't load. Yeah. So I think you need to look at it as an investment rather than just a cost to doing business. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, if you're a tradie or a service-based business already on WordPress and you want to add a shop, is it adequate to add on WooCommerce, or should they start fresh on something like Shopify?
Great question. You're laughing because we've come across this exact scenario. Yes. And not just in tradies. I've seen this with, we've tried this with a bookkeeper. We've tried this even with our own site, and turning a information-based site. So that's a lead generation site.
Yep.
So Google knows, okay, they're going to get an information. They're going to check out. They're going to put in their details or ring up. That's the purpose of the site. That's the nature of the site. That's what everyone in the industry has as well. Now all of a sudden you're plugging on a commerce angle to it, or a commerce aspect to the site, and you're going to confuse Google what this site's about. Mm-hmm. So is this a lead generation local business, or is this an e-commerce store? And that's really important. People don't understand that Google kind of theme sites, and they'll rank sites that are like other sites. And if no one else is an e-commerce site on the first page, you're probably going to have a hard time ranking an e-commerce site. So it breaks that theme relevance and I guess category relevance of where Google categorizes your site as. So literally we've seen this where a tradie did this and their rankings just plummeted. And it's because of that. Because rather than saying we install fans, now all of a sudden we're an e-commerce store that sells fans. Like the two categories don't match up. There wasn't a single site on the first page of Google for the terms that they're trying to rank for that also had an e-commerce engine attached to it. So my recommendation is that's a separate, they might go hand in hand, whereas the first one feeds the second, or the second one feeds the first. But on a pure SEO level, I would highly recommend against it, and just start a separate site for the e-com side of things.
Yeah, it can lead users to land on the site and think, oh, I didn't want to buy a fan. I want to book an emergency electrician.
And vice versa. Mm-hmm. They land on there and they're looking at this fan and like, oh, this is a local business in this area. Oh, shipping's going to be, like, they're going to charge me extra for shipping. And all these preconceived ideas all of a sudden come through. Versus if you're landing on a national site, oh, they probably have warehouses all around Australia. I'm not going to pay big shipping because they're already going to get it to me nationally. Yeah. So, yeah, all those preconceived ideas start playing into the user experience as well. But purely on an SEO level, you're confusing Google about the category of your site.
So would it go as far as this is my main site, it's performing well, I'm going to link out to my new Shopify and support it that way? You
can probably do that. Yeah, I think you can get away with doing that. I don't see a problem with that at all. And as long as you're not doing it with 50 other sites, Google won't care either. Yeah. You're linking out one time.
Cool. Okay, what happens to your SEO if you pick the wrong, we've kind of covered this. Do you have anything else to say around this? Picking the wrong platform and needing to migrate, and how risky it is for your domain name, I guess.
Yeah, I think it just the migration gets harder and harder the further down the track you are. Yeah. So if SEO is a big piece of your business and it's a big way of driving traffic, you want to make that decision early on, because the beautiful thing about WooCommerce is that the blog engine can really support your product pages really well, and you can silo and structure the URLs beautifully to build a very clean kind of, we call it a hierarchy. Okay, yep. You can't do that as well with a Shopify. You can do the interlinking, so it's kind of like, we call it a virtual silo. You can do that really well, and it works. But if you're in a super competitive industry and you need every ounce of SEO power out of your site, you want to make that decision pretty early. Yeah. So if SEO plays a really big part in your business, in driving traffic and in your e-commerce store, then you want to make that decision early, and it's a really critical decision to make before it kind of blows out and it becomes a super headache. It's always possible. And with the right kind of migration strategies and planning, we've migrated sites from one platform to the other with minimal interruption, but you're always going to have a little bit of a shake-up.
Yeah, and if you kind of sign up for the cheapest thing, like we're talking GoDaddy or something even free, to get yourself off the ground, and then you get to where you want to go, you don't want to have to then lose all that traffic and all of that authority.
Yeah. So I would probably suggest plan at least 3 to 5 years. Yeah. In terms of your platform, like choose the one that where you can see yourself still using that in 3 to 5 years. Yeah. And then after that, technology moves so fast, you probably have to rebuild anyway, and you can make that decision then. But you don't want to see yourself, at the end of this year, I'm going to need a different platform, because it's going to take 2 to 3 months to build the site, do it properly anyway. If you're serious about your business.
Great.
So yeah.
Okay. What are the SEO fundamentals that matter regardless of which platform you're on?
The ability to, this is really important for e-commerce, the ability to have good category pages that you can add content to and easily optimize them. Then we talk about the big 7 all the time with here internally in our academy and how we do SEO. So that's your title tag, that's your URL, how to be able to optimize that URL, the H1, the H2s, H3s, the content on the page, how you can structure that. I think in the age of AI, it's really important to be able to put schema in there, to be able to put different kind of files onto the site. So your all the different your robots and stuff like that play a really important thing for SEO. But your geo files and things like that are really important for AI search now as well. So you start showing up in there. So the ability to do those are really important. So that's really your basic SEO stuff. It carries into AI SEO these days as well. Yeah,
and you can install Yoast and things like that across both platforms.
Plug straight in. And out of the box, that covers all your basics.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need much more than that. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, great. All right, final question. If somebody listening to this is about to launch their first online store, congratulations and good luck.
Exciting days.
What is your honest recommendation, and what should they get right from day one?
Watch this video.
Nice.
Do you have the budget to build something on Shopify?
Yeah.
Or do you have the budget to build something on WordPress? What's your expected turnover? All of the things that we just went through, make sure you answer those questions first before you make your choice. Don't just have everything based on what you can do now. What are things going to look like in 1, 3, 5 years' time? Base your decisions on those types of those drivers, rather than just this looks fine or someone told me this works. Go through this video and answer those questions. And if this is you and you've got burning questions, put them in the comments below. We'll help 100%. You out. Or send us a DM, send us an inquiry through the website. We're more than happy to kind of expand on what we're talking about here. Yeah. And we've got the team on the ground to help you make these decisions, kind of go through it. So always happy to speak to a lot of people and help businesses out. Yeah, great. So thank you, David. Do you have anything else to say on this topic before we go? No, I think we really wrapped it up at the end. Don't just make your choice based on what feels right now. Yeah. Think about it 3 years, 5 years, and what's the right solution for that. Yeah, I think it comes down to having, faith in what you're doing, having faith in your business plan. Yeah. Planning it for more than just, let's see if this thing works. Think about it's going to work, and this is what it's going to look like in 3 to 5 years. And just, some realistic expectations. Yeah. A website isn't just cost, it's an investment. And the more you invest, the more you're going to get out using the right people to help you do so. Perfect. All right. Thank you. Thank you for joining us with Chats with Selenites, and we'll see you next time. Bye.